Blessed be I, O my soul, and all his holy name. Bless his holy set apart name. In Yeshua, the true and living word, the Father shall be glorified. In Yeshua, the true and living word, I shall be confident. Trying to get a good angle on my camera, so please bear with me. Today we will be in Judges chapter 16 and Proverbs. Identifying a strange spirit that is after the hearts of men. As I was reading this rising, Abba cracks me up. He expressed to me that the stories in our word, in the word that you all have on this earth for our learning, the oracles and the testimonies of lives before, what people tend to make mistakes with is, if, say, for example, the name of a person was Delilah, and Delilah, we all know, was one who seduced. She was after the heart of, that's just too much to say. She was after the strength of Samson. And so the Most High wanted me to express, Ahaya wanted me to express, which is I am, Ahaya Asher Ahaya, I am that I am. What needs me to express to you all that it's not for us to say, oh, there's a lot of, we don't need to identify spirits by the name of one who once did it, for that vessel is no longer here. When the Mashiach said to the unclean spirits that was in the man who had legions, he said, what is your name? These unclean spirits have names. Though they attach to individuals, we can't label those unclean spirits by the name of the vessel who they dwelt in, because they don't just dwell in one vessel. No, they dwell in several. Like, you can't, we're not going to say there's one Judas. Judas is no longer here. There are many people on the earth that are determined that they would rather chase the bag than to value the gems that be so nigh unto them, which is the word of the Most High. If it was up to me, I would have been done this YouTube channel. But Abba is not done with me yet. So, out of obedience, I'm risen up early to bring forth this word. And the title of this video today is The Strange Spirit, which is after the heart. Take guard. Okay, so I'm going to get my scriptures opened up. And we're going to begin in the chapter of Judges, chapter 16 of Judges. Okay. And we're going to also be tossing to and fro. Let me remind you all again, discretion shall keep you. Let me read that first. Okay. I do have this, and all of a sudden this ugly scenery comes on. I do have this scenery on, so, because I will not be putting my face on here, so, I do have some information that I will be adjusting my channel a lot better, so that we're not looking at a bunch of foolishness. But you could easily just put, your phone down or whatever and just listen. Because it's what I'm saying that's a lot more valuable than what's before my face. What's before your face. So if you can truly just take heed to what is important right now, you will be edified. This is how the Father is going to filter out those who are here for edification, who would like to hear wisdom, knowledge, and the understanding of the Most High within me, versus those who are here to look in my face and for whatever other reasons they may have. Now, we're going to start off in Proverbs chapter 5. O children of the Most High, attend unto his wisdom, and let's bow our ears to his understanding, that we may regard discretion, and that our lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Now, Judges chapter 16. All right. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and went in unto her. We know that Samson also in Judges 14 went down to Timnath, and saw a woman in Timnath, of the daughters of the Philistines, and told his father and mother, and said, I've seen a woman in Timnath, of the daughters of the Philistines, and now therefore get her for me to wife. So we can see here a pattern with Samson, that he has a appetite for women who are not of the vine. They're not the fruit of righteousness. I want to get Ecclesiasticus 26. Okay. We know that Samson was made from the womb, sent from the Most High as a mighty strong arm to destroy the enemies of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the descendants of Jacob. But however, the eye of covetousness, coveting the things which the Most High forbade his sons to take hold of, Samson just couldn't stay away from. Verse 11 of, yeah, it's 26. Now, my position as a vessel on this channel is not particularly a preacher, an evangelist, a minister. What I am is a voice crying in the captivity of my people. I am a voice crying out in the captivity, in the midst of the bondage of my people. And my people are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, scattered to the four corners. My heart is weary and it hurts because I feel the pain of my Father towards his sons that are lured by strange spirits. we look over here in Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 19, it says, my son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. You see, keeping, I asked a beloved friend, what does flower mean? And I was told it meant the virginity. So when a young man is at the age, a little bit mid or past puberty, mid-age young man, whatever you want to call that, in this life, they have a desire to seek out a mate, a hunt for a spouse, or some of them seek out pleasure. The Bible tells us, the word of the Most High instructs us to keep its sound, which means being instructed and using the instructions of the Most High and His wisdom when you are going about to find a spouse. Grand, beautiful risings, Brother Obadiah, shalom to you. I definitely will, beloved. If there's anything particular you want me to pray about, just put a few words in here. You don't have to put your business out. Whatever it is you need me to pray on your behalf, put it in the chat, and I will go before the throne. Okay? So today, brother, we're talking about the story of Samson, and I am a voice crying out in the midst of captivity of my brothers and my sisters to alarm and alert us, because my heart is heavy and I feel the sadness and the weariness of I am that I am, because his children are not keeping the flower of their age sound and are giving their strength to strangers. So let us look back at Judges chapter 16. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and went in unto her. Lie with her. He did the hanky-panky, the boom-boom. Y'all know what it's talking about. Okay. Moving on. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gates of the city. You know, midnight is also an hour of watch. I remember David would say, I will arise at midnight and praise thee and thank thee. You know, here it is, Samson is in a place he does not belong. He has lied down with a strange woman, a harlot, a hoe, a whore, a thought, a slut, whatever you want to call her. And he is not married to her. So he is actively in the practice of, see, before Delilah came, brothers and sisters, he was already actively ensnaring his soul with the acts of fornication, whoredom, a whoremongering lifestyle. He was feeding an appetite he had that was causing his heart to turn from the Father. He says, I ask that you pray for me, my zeal to increase for the Father, and boldness and courage. Absolutely, beloved. Absolutely. Oh, Father, right now, in the mighty name of Yeshua, I come before you. So be it. I'll take that prayer when I'm offline. I got you when I'm offline, bro. When I go into my private chambers. just know I sent my soul before him on behalf. So as you listen to this lesson, this most certainly will encourage your zeal. It will ignite, because you're dealing with a sister who has a warrior spirit. I can be dainty, I can be docile, I can be demure. But in the spirit of my Father, when it's time for war, I'm not in the mood for games and shenanigans and radical ideas. All right. So it says, Samson lay till midnight and arose, and at midnight he took the doors of the gate of the city and the two posts and went away with them, bar and all. So it's just like when they thought they were going to ensnare him and catch him, they tried to become a wall unto him with deceit. And so he took their physical gate, which was supposed to be their physical protection. So one would say, well, Samson's lying down with this strange woman, but he's still strong. Yeah, the anointing's still active, right? But he is setting the groundwork for Delilah to come. Because when Delilah came, you can't read that part of the chapter in Judges 16 and say, my goodness, I get very furious when I read about how this woman could very plain. We read it plainly that she says, tell me your strength. But I assure you, when she was in the operation of deceit, it didn't come out that way. See, as we read it, I'm sure she spit some game. I'm sure she had some smooth, finessing going on to cause his heart to be bounded in a cord. Because while she's talking crazy to him, he's probably looking at the curves and how her melanin is glowing in the sun and the beautiful metals being elaborately expressed off of her body. And rather than the gold making her look good, she's making the gold look good. She's got the little skirt off the hip, hugging it just right. She got the hair flowing or whatever have you may. And he's already in his mind like how he would probably have her. Because this is what the mind of a man does when they see a beautiful woman. They're already envisioning what they will do. This is why the Mashiach said, if a man looks upon a woman and lust after her, in his heart, he hath already committed adultery with her. So, Ziari will not be on this camera. That's one. And for two, Ziari despises the spirit of seduction. Ziari was blessed with beauty, and she won't apologize for it. However, she does not use her beauty to allure men to trap them. And she will not use her beauty to allure men to love the Most High. For it will be my words, it will be my mouth, and the wisdom I use to point my brothers and sisters to the Father. I want to go to Habakkuk chapter 2 really quick. Okay. It says, his soul which is lifted, verses 4 rather, of Habakkuk 2. I'm re-quoting this because I'm reading from my notes. His soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. So, a man has to be lifted within himself to have great confidence to commit such acts of fornication, whoredom against the Father. And see, yes, we're going to read of the story of Samson today, but we're going to talk about how his heart was not guarded. How he was not led by discernment and discretion. He was not preserved. You see, he had to go out to these what is it, verses of chapter 14 of Judges, it says Timnath, and he had to go down to Gaza because the daughters of Zion weren't carrying it. They weren't carrying it the way these whores were carrying it. So he just wasn't satisfied, I would assume. Nah. He probably liked the way they spoke uncircumcised to him. See, that's the first thing, brothers, y'all want and sisters, we want to take heed to, is not allowing the spirit of flattery to take root. See, somebody give you, see, first of all, when you know you look good and you know what you got going on, you don't need somebody to compliment you. When you understand love, when you have received the love of the Most High, it's top tier to anything anyone else could give you. Yes, he will send people in your life to compliment his love, to dress his love. You know how the beautiful flowers dress the earth. The earth is already beautiful, but the flowers, aren't they just gorgeous how they just sprout for? So compliments are like flowers, and eventually they will wither away because the season of those compliments are temporary. You should never need someone to be someone else's opinion of you to be your validation. And we're living in a time now where there's a certain desire for us to want to be seen, validated, acknowledged, because deep down inside, everyone's truly lonely because they have lost their first love. They have forsaken their first love, and that is the one who made them. Okay? So it says in Habakkuk 2, verse 4, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but they that are justified shall live by faith. So popular, no, you say not popular, but those who have a lifted up soul. See, Samson had strength, physical strength. Though he had this all his life, grew up with an anointing of strength, not just physical strength. He was not going to the gym for this. He was not on no special diet. Okay, we know that he was a Nazarite. So yes, he did have a special diet he had to apply and be adhere to. But the importance of what we want to express here is that his strength was not of his own self. It was of the Most High. But when he began to get lifted up, his soul and his heart went astray. So when we read about him going after these women, just note at that time, just see it as him running further from the Father. Because I'm sure if Samson would have never ended up with Delilah, we would have read a story of him possibly producing a beautiful army of little strong men if he had laid his seed in the proper earth. If he would have lied with someone that the Most High that was circumcised unto him, that a sister that was of the fold. So let us proceed in Judges chapter 16. So he lifts up the gates, took the 2 posts with him, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of the hill that is before Hebron. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. He loved her. Oh, these inappropriate commercials. Father, I need to find something else. Because I can't with this. Okay. And the... Okay. And the princes of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. Every one of us, you're going to give her some money. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me. So we didn't have to hear her say, okay, and it didn't say, and Delilah thought upon it, and Delilah was, you know, a little skeptical. She felt like she didn't want to. It didn't say Delilah loved Samson. It says, and Samson loved Delilah. Okay? Let's really pay attention here, brothers and sisters. Samson was head over the heels at this point. So it said he lay with this harlot, but he didn't love her. It said he went into, asked his parents to have him, we know about the story about the first wife, okay? Well, check this out. Here it is. It says he loved Delilah. Verses 6, and Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. First instinct is, see, a person in their right mind, listen, again, Ecclesiasticus 26, my son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all thy fields, sowed with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good decent. See, there, he didn't care about his offspring. He only cared about the pleasure of his loins. He wasn't thinking, this is how you know a man's off, if you're not thinking about the future. If a person that you're considering to be your spouse, if she's not talking your same language, if she's not talking in the same will of the Most High for your life, she's sent to distract, offset, and disrupt. But you know what? Some brothers will think, well, you know what? It's going good for me. And oh, the Most High's got his anointing on me. He's power on me. I'm doing good. Da, 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 da. And I can play with this one. I can play with that. I can see where her head's at. I can see where his head's at. I can entertain this. Maybe I could, I could fashion them. I'm telling you right now, trust and believe in the Most High. You cannot. You have not the power and ability. You are not the Holy Spirit. You are not the quickening one that you can take that which is crooked and make it straight. Boom. Check it out. So she already, so if he was in his right mind, he would have said, first of all, why do you need to know my strength? Like, what do you need to know? What will have me to be bound? What you got up your sleeve? That's like a girl saying, what's your weakness? What is something I could do? Like, what really pisses you off? Not inquiring so that she does not do that, but, or you know what? And chances are she probably expressed this. Said, you know what, baby? I love you so much, or I care about you so much. I need to know, I've been always wondering, what makes you so strong? What got you able to conquer so much? Him completely blinded. He's not using the heart of understanding. He's using the heart of flesh. Okay? Let's proceed. So, because I'm telling you now, when we read these scriptures, we can clearly say, oh my gosh, like, why? Like, how? But when our hearts astray from the Father, this is what we'll deal with. We will deal with seducing spirits that will try to beguile us away from Abba. Okay. And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green whips that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. So he tested her. So at first he was like, okay, I'm not going for this. So, all right, boom. He had common sense at this point. Not common sense. He's operating in wisdom. But nowhere I find, here's Samson saying, and why would you want to? We don't have to read that, but you can see that within his heart, he's probably pondering this. Why does she need to know what makes me weak? Then the princess of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green whips which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. You know what, family? I'm starting to see through the wisdom of the Most High. Is she probably played him on something. I need the mature to hear this, so just take heed. If you got children, you may. If you're playing this, replaying this, or whatever, and you have children nearby, this is a part they may not need to hear. But what I can see here is that she's using a mechanism of bondage. She's probably presenting to him like, you know what, I really want to take this to the next level with you. I want to get creative. Tell me, because I'm scared of you. Like, you're strong and, you know, I want to play a role play with you. So she probably presented this to him in a manner as though her reasonings before finding this out was behind the guise of wanting to please him. And he testing her. And so even though he's stronger, a man can, like, if a girl starts punching up on him, like how the ones, you know, Taraji was on Baby Boy and was like, I hate you, Jody, I hate you. Punching up on him. He just letting her get a couple hits off till he hit her. And then his strength, he realized, wow, this is why you can't hit a woman, because, you know, a man's hand is stronger than a woman's. A woman is the weaker vessel. She's weaker emotionally. She's weaker mentally. She's weaker physically. She's weaker spiritually. She's weaker. This is why the serpent came to Eve. So let me say something also too. With that being said, brothers that are married, pray for the strength of your rib, so that when she gets weak, she don't give in to her weakness and drag y'all, bring you down. Sisters, when you fall to, if you feel weakness coming upon you, or you realize you had a weak moment, you fell into the weakness. I said something I shouldn't have said. I thought something I shouldn't have thought. I expressed them. I did something. I went about it. When these moments come, sisters, allow humility to mend and to recompense. To reconcile. Because a soft answer turns away wrath. You can arouse the wrath of a man in your weakness. But the sisters also pray the compassion of the Messiah upon him, that he have understanding of your weakness, rather than the enemy cause him to focus on the disappointment or the fall of the weakness. Say, Father, give him understanding so that he knows how to love me like you do. So he knows how to be fragile with me and be gentle with me. Because if you're dealing with glass, you're not going to throw it around like it's a football. You're dealing with something dainty, docile. You like, brothers, you want a lady sister to be a lady? You want a lady? You have to know how to handle her. You have to be fragile with ladies. You can't deal with a lady how you deal with a whore. You can't be rough. You can't be gruesome. Okay? Let's get back to the scriptures. And Samson said unto her, they bind. Okay, wait, I read that. All right, boom. Bring my word to me. So we're now at verses 9. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. Abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him, the Philistines are be upon you, Samson, and he break the wits as a thread of a tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, look, you have mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray you, I beg you, I plead with you, where is and how you might be bound? Here it is. He throws out a trap. Give her some phony little lie. Next thing you know, ironically, here comes strange men of Philistines upon him. And she's, Samson, the Philistines. She's supposed to be the one that acts like, oh my gosh. She could have been putting herself in a situation, like acting as though she needed him to save her. They're walking about the way. Let's go along the river. She already knows the Philistines are going to be there. But yet it says the chamber here. However, she's like, let's go to the chamber. And we know, I think the bed chambers is slightly where, you know, like the bedroom. So here it is. Delilah got Samson in a place where it says, and there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. Lying in wait, they were hidden. They weren't seen. She's well aware of them lying in wait. Plays the damsel in distress. Samson, look, there's Philistines upon you. And boom, he gets through it. And she says, you mocked me and told me lies. So now she's doing the reverse psychology. She's doing the manipulation spirit. This is what people do when they're caught with their pants down. Let me tell you how you can identify an enemy. When you're dealing with, when your enemies were not able to do what they intended to do towards you, they try to make you feel guilty. Hold up, ho. How in the world are you mad because you weren't able to bind this brother? He was not bound when Philistines came upon him. She didn't say this, and Delilah said, oh, I'm so glad you got out of that, baby. Oh, I'm so glad you're safe. Are you okay? Do you need something to drink? Do you need something to eat? Oh my gosh, maybe we should just go to your place. Because, you know, I don't want people coming between our relationship. No, this is not Delilah's heart. Delilah's not concerned about the well-being of Samson. She doesn't care. The only thing, the majority of the thing she pressed this brother was about his strength. She's all up in the business. The business between him and the father. That's intimacy. No woman, man, or child should ever violate the intimacy between you and the Most High. When you get somebody in your company that will violate your intimacy with the Most High, you're dealing with a spirit of a strange woman. You're dealing with the spirit of a strange man. You're dealing with the spirit of a strange organization. You're dealing with a strange spirit. Strange is foreign. He said, my sheep hear my voice, and a stranger they will not listen to. She should have been talking to him about strength, and he should have been unto him as though she was speaking a foreign language. This also tells us that whatever the language was back in those times, the children of Shem and the children of Ham understood one another, because he's going to different places and he's able to communicate with these women. Same as Solomon. Different women, yet the universal communication was her wanting eyes, her haughty looks, tingling of her feet, and the engulfing of the man. He's in awe. Back to Judges 16. Verse 11. So she's crying. She's putting on this little show. She's having an attitude. He coming over thinking it's going to be a regular day. Or not come over, but he thinking it's going to be all as well. Come on, Delilah, stop playing like. And she's like, no, you lied to me. You mocked me. You didn't tell me. She's got a little attitude. Thinking it's going to break him down. Which it broke him down. And he said to her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that were never occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon you, Samson. Notice every time he was bound, it was never just her and him. You got to start paying attention who's around you when you caught up, when you find yourself ensnared, when you find yourself bound. Pay attention. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them forth off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said to Samson, hereto thou hast mocked me and told me. So again you mocked me and told me lies, wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee? Here we go. When thine heart is not with me. This is a question from the Most High to the hearers. How do we, with our mouths, say we love Ahia, and our hearts are not with him? When you know that your heart is in a wandering state, why do you not wrestle with that and pray and cry out to the Most High? Why do we only cry out to him when we're in trouble from our hearts wandering, but we can't cry to him when our hearts begin to slip? We need to be intentionally cautious and guarding our hearts from the slipperization away from Abba. So now she's trying to say, how you say you love me when thine heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times and have not told me wherein thy great strength is. So where was his heart? His heart was with the Most High, because the Most High told him to never tell. Discretion shall keep thee and preserve thee from the strange woman. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him. Guess what? She wouldn't have been able to press him daily if he wasn't putting himself in her company to begin with. If he wasn't answering the phone. If he wasn't checking in with her. This is why the Father deals with people according to their intents. What were you doing with her to begin with? You didn't have any discernment? At what point, Samson, was it the first time? Oh, was it the first time? Was it the second time? No, it wasn't the second time. Was it the third time? No, it surely wasn't the third time. Was it the continual daily verbal pulling that had you realize her intentions to you were not good? See, there's no excuses. Samson could have very well said, you know what? She trapped me while his eyes is gouged out. They said, darn, how's she gonna play me? And everybody, this is like a brother could say about Cardi B. Oh, she drugged this man up. She's wrong. She needs to be locked up. Well, these suckers found themselves to be allured by her lust, by her seducing spirit. Just like the Tinder swindler. This man was a broke joke from Israel, the state of Israel, might I add, not from the nation. That's why they know they had to put the state, because they know they are not the nation of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let me just say that. And this scoundrel was alluring women and taking advantage of them with their credit card, with debt. He financially, emotionally manipulated them. So it ain't just a woman. It's a spirit that operates in different individuals according to their sin and their weaknesses and their hearts. That goes to tell you, she's not like Rahab. She don't fear the Most High. See, Delilah didn't give a John Brown. She was about her people. And she was about the bag. While he's thinking about, okay, I'm looking at her body, how you gonna get her? She thinking about what she gonna do with them 11 pieces of silver from each person. I'm gonna just get this bag and leave, and I'm gonna be out, I'm gonna be rich, and he won't find me if he does break loose. If something happens. She pressed him daily with her words and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto my husbandman from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength. This hurts me to even read this. Samson. He said, if I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for princes of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he has showed me all his heart. Then the princes of the Philistines, see what she did? She didn't take his information of what she told her and ponder in her heart and say, you're lying to me. She took that information to destroy him. That's what she did. She said, come up here, hither. In other words, she's like, oh, I got him now. Yeah, he told me. See, it's a shame. The scripture says, who could mend a broken spirit? Right? That means if you've been dealing with harlots so much, when a good woman comes around, you're not going to be able to identify. And if you've been dealing with a lot of heartache sisters, when a good man is being genuine, it will be hard to identify. It will be. Because our adaptive mechanisms of survival kicks in, and you tend to feel the need that you have to prove, you have to investigate, you have to make sense of it. Because you're like, surely he can't be right. Surely she has some ill intentions towards me. And it's not always the case. So it says, come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the princes of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. That means they were confident this time. He told you what? Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. The minute he said this to her, the father left him. And the confidence of his enemies was lifted up inside of them. Their souls were lifted up. Because he has given his strength to a stranger. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, okay, verse 19, she made him sleep upon her knees. She made him, which means she gave him some type. How she put that man to sleep? Like Jay Holiday said, put you to bed. And she just rocked his body. Yeah, she rocked his body. She put him to sleep. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. So she's testing him. Pinch, smack. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as other times before and shake myself. And he wist not that Ahiah was departed from him. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with the feathers of brass. And he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Hold on, let's just stop for a moment. Moment of silence and sadness and grief for our brother Samson, who was beguiled. But more so than that, for the pain of the Most High, when he betrayed him. For a woman. This is an offense that could enable you, decapitate you in ways you cannot reverse from. You know, brothers and sisters, I cry. I cry when I see an individual that's slipping from the Father. And I actually feel it. I'll be going about my daily round and he will just touch me. Lay this person in my heart. Like, come here, friend. Check this out. And here I come. Trying my best to understand why they would do, why we fall to these type of things. I did it before. I looked back and said, you know what? It wasn't his eyes. It wasn't his smooth talking. It wasn't how he put it down. It wasn't none of that. It was my heart leaving my Father. Yes, we know that, you know, Samson, as his hair grew, he prayed to the Most High and acknowledged. There was a humbling that went on in that shaven place with Samson. In that shaven state of his life, there was a lot of mockery, ridicule, loneliness, despair, anguish, anger, resentment, regret. And in all this, still the Father, whatever Samson felt, maximized that to the Father. Because we will never have the greater end of the stick when we betray our Father. Gave the strength, which was the Most High, to the heathens. Gave them the opportunity to rule as a nation. Verse 24, and when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God have delivered into our hands our enemy and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, they said, call for Samson, that we may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between the pillars. They didn't care about nothing but just having him sit here. Like, let's decorate our gathering place with a Samson. I feel like looking at him and laughing at him today. His arms bound between two pillars. He's sitting there. And they just walking around, laughing, scoffing, probably smacking them, hitting them. You can't get me. Hit me now. Break the chains. All kinds of mockery. And it came to pass when their hearts were ever dead. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the princes of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto Ahiah and said, O sovereign Ahiah, remember me. I pray thee and strengthen me. I pray thee only this once, O husbandman, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines of my two eyes. And Samson took hold of the two middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the princes and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Maon, his father. And he judged Jacob 20 years. I am going to go cry now. Because my heart hurts. There'll be so many of our precious men and women that even though the Most High hear their cry and redeem and restore, they will have given an opportunity. We have given an opportunity to the enemy to take hold of our strength. This is what this spirit is sent to do, brothers and sisters. They want to take your power and then say, oh no, I would never do that. Yes, but that is all their intention. They want your company. They want to listen to you so they can try to study you to figure out if you'll just hear you just yourself tell them your weaknesses. I pray this lesson finds those it needs to find, and that the highest spirit of discipline causes them to listen to this whole video. Because I am so ready to be done with YouTube. I am so ready to just stay in my private place and be with him and my children. But it's not about what I want. Just like I told my kindergarten, third grade, whatever grade teacher in elementary, when she asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up. And I told her, she came around the class, so everybody wrote something down but me. The father wouldn't even let me ever think of anything. Whenever I used to think, I would say, I can't figure nothing out. What I wanted to do. She said to me, why haven't you written anything down? She thought she was going to have me say, I don't know what I want to be. She thought she was going to get something, I guess, to maybe she just, her intentions was to just help me think, as a teacher does. And I said, well, I can't put anything down. I don't know what the man upstairs has for me. I don't want to get in trouble. That's what I said to her. So now here I am, doing the will of my Father. And while I do the will of my Father, I feel the pain of my Father. And he feels the pain of his servants. And I encourage you, brothers and sisters, to love on him. Don't let your own desires sway you. Let's not let him down no more. He doesn't deserve it. I gotta go.